This is going to be a strange interview because I can't remember so many things. All I remember is that Barry and I were talking about doing something, writing something together. And I guess one day I had some ideas and he had some ideas. And I flew up to Berkeley and we sat down in his office and I told him my ideas, and then he told me his ideas, and we both hated each other's ideas. So we sat there for a little bit, and then I said, well, I think I said, I have an idea, a little idea about something or other, and he said, well, I kind of like that. And one thing led to another, and there was Lost Highway, the script. I think it had to do, one of my ideas had to do with the Mystery Man. And at that party, that kind of feeling. And I can't remember a sequence of how the thing unfolded, what happened first, but I really liked working with Barry, and together we got the film. We would sit in a room and talk, and that's kind of the way it worked. I also had a whole thing of this character of Mr. Eddie, and I can't remember how that thing got in there, but you know, when you work together, it doesn't really matter. By talking and talking and you know, it starts, the different threads start, you know, knitting themselves, and there was the script. Well, I got to say, you know, like it was Bill Pullman was, you know, absolutely great as Fred Madison, and Patricia Arquette was absolutely fantastic, and all the characters, all the actors were so good. And one of the great things about actors is, no matter how strange, Balthazar Getty, incredible, great guy, really great guy. I don't know why all of them aren't superstars, but actors, you know, they can get to a place, they're filled with, you know, wonder and imagination, and they get it so quick. No matter how strange a thing is, they get it, and their talent is to make it real. They get it, and their talent is to make it real from a deep place. And when that happens, it's really, really beautiful. And so everybody, you know, got there in a really beautiful way. I talk, you know, there's no rule or way. There's just, wherever you start, it's a process sort of talking, and then trying it, and then talking some more, and then trying it, and it just gets closer and closer. And the things that you say in between the trying, in between the rehearsing, they might be, you know, stupid things. But between me and the actor, they're not stupid. And they're just little keys that, you know, put it, you know, closer to being correct. And then when it feels correct, we both know it. It's like it needed to go from wherever it was, you know, and then bang, it's there. It definitely is a kind of a film noir thing, but still it has a different elements going from a straight-ahead film noir. But it has that film noir thing for sure. And, you know, I didn't ever say anything at the time, but I had a fixation on O.J. Simpson, the trial. And I think some of this grew out of O.J. Simpson, because here is a guy who, at least, you know, I believe, you know, committed 2 murders, and yet is able to go on living and speaking and, you know, doing and golfing, things like this. And so what does the mind do when you know, after something like that, after a you know, horrific murder and that experience, how does the mind protect itself from that knowledge and go on? And that's interesting to me. And the mind is interesting, you know, for sure. Huge stories in the mind. But that's one thing. And Barry and I talked about that. How does the mind trick itself so that that can be put in a place where it no longer has that, you know, horrific power, and you go on living? There's things that have to happen, information that has to be given for the thing to go, and the mystery man, you know, provided that. You know, to say with words anymore would not be good. The idea of the house grew out of my house, because the whole thing in the beginning happened to me. That the intercom buzzer went off early one morning, and a voice said, "David?" And I said, "Yes." And the voice said, "Dick Laurent is dead." Now, I didn't have a window to look at right then, so I went from where I was to a different part of the house so I could try to see who was if anybody was leaving the house who had said that. And I saw no one. By the time I to the window where I could see out, there was no one there. Now, my next door neighbor, his name was David also, because I didn't know any Dick Laurent. And so I don't know what that meant, but that happened. So, and I didn't want to shoot at my own house, so we were looking for a location that had that same kind of difficulty seeing out the front. And I thought it might be easy, you know, to find that, but it was the hardest location to find. And that's when this house that we're having this interview in came up for sale. And it didn't have the right configuration, but it had a good price, and I could, if I owned a house, I could tear it apart and reconfigure it, which we did. And so it worked out, you know, really well. But that's the reason we shot here, to be able to reconfigure the house.